Okay, y'all, in today's video, we start my Sportster, if you will, Dirtster build, taking a 2008 Sportster 1200, turning it into a dirt bike. Not really a dirt bike, more of an adventure bike. It's a little bit different than, it's gonna be an awesome off-road Harley Davidson conversion. Now, before I go any further, I wanna talk to y'all. I am not a bike builder, okay? You can see I love motorcycles. I've got this brand new beautiful BMW R18. I've got an Indian Challenger, got custom Road King, KTM, actual dirt bikes, Road Glide over there. I like a lot of different types of motorcycles, and I love to ride motorcycles. That's really my wheelhouse. In fact, when it comes to riding motorcycles around the country, I'd say I've probably got one of the best resumes of anybody around the world. But when it comes to wrenching on them, I'm a complete novice. So y'all might have seen a really cool Instagram video I put up the other day because I had actually dropped this bike off at a builder to build it. If y'all seen this video, you know, but take a look. I dropped that bike off with Chris Moose, and he was supposed to build me this ultimate dirtster. He's a super talented fabricator and builder, so I was extremely excited. But then I left it with him for 2 weeks. When the time came for me to pick up the bike, I texted him a couple days before, told him I'm excited to see the bike. He told me I was gonna be surprised. I told me to travel safe and everything else. And then I showed up to pick up the bike, and he had done not one thing to it. I asked him, well, what the hell, man? You told me I'd be surprised. He says, well, I've done nothing to your bike. That's your surprise. I made a phone call to a very good friend of mine, Crystal Hess from Motorcycle Missions. This lady has got a program where she takes veterans and gets them building motorcycles, custom motorcycles, and working through PTSD and other issues as they build these bikes together. And she said, Adam, you know what? We're gonna help you out. And so today, Motorcycle Missions is showing up on like 2 days' notice to my shop, and we start the Sportster build. So this is the Sportster we're gonna be building. It has made it onto my lift, and we are just now starting to take it apart. The first person on scene was my boy, Joe. Thank you so much for coming out here, man.
Absolutely, brother.
Joe, tell everybody your service.
Army. Yeah, I was in the Army for a long time. Did a bunch of tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. I got involved with Motorcycle Missions, and it's a good program, and I'm glad to help.
Cannot thank this guy enough for showing up here to help me today. Today we're expecting a few more people from Motorcycle Missions, and you'll meet them as they arrive. The goal right now is get the front end off of the Sportster. He's already started taking off the levers. We're gonna get them forks off, we're gonna get them triple trees off, and then we're gonna start installing this RMZ front end properly valved and set up by my boy Derek. You can find his Instagram link right there. And then to make it work, we also had to have some custom triple trees made up. These were done by my boy Tim over at Gigastat. Both of these guys did phenomenal jobs, made their deadlines, helped me out. Thank both of you so much. And that suspension is gonna be paired with this wicked fairing done by my boy Josh, and you can find his links right here. All in all, this is a pretty major build as far as I'm concerned. This is some serious modifications to the front end of the bike, some serious modifications to the rear end. I'll use my Legend suspension. Woo! Look at it. Slamming some D&D exhaust on it and a bunch of other parts. We're gonna have to custom fab some stuff today. These guys are coming in with tools because my tool selection is not up to snuff for custom fabbing, and well,
Hey, Ross Dolbauer here. I'm the board president for Motorcycle Missions. Adam has always been such a huge supporter of ours. He's done so much for us. He needed help with the Sportster and jumped in the truck this morning, brought the tools, brought the wife, and just came down there to help out with Joe and Crystal.
And we're getting stronger by the minute. Like I said, this is something completely new for me. But I'm excited, man, to have the right people here.
Hi.
Appreciate you coming out here to help us today. She's getting, oh my God, you're getting
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs. We've got progress, baby. And look who arrived. The lovely Miss Crystal Hess in the house. Crystal is the founder of Motorcycle Missions. Crystal, thank you so much for coming to help me today.
Of course, always help you. Couldn't do it without a really awesome team. So
That is what it takes. I was more than disappointed and frankly a little hurt when I went and picked up this bike, and now I'm extremely happy and can't wait to see where it goes. So let's take a look at what we're at. Taking the bearings for the neck.
Yep.
You think this neck's going to come together?
I hope so. We're gonna try and press these on here in just a few minutes.
All right.
Let's see.
It absolutely can't be from like
Turning wrenches.
Was the bolts.
and that's what's causing that.
We have a wheel. So the rear wheel is from the TC Brothers. I got a lot of my parts for this build from them. They're a great resource for anything that you want to do to customize or modify a motorcycle. They make some pretty rad parts for baggers too, but in this case, they've done my rear wheel, my rear sprocket, my rear rotor, my chain conversion kit, just a bunch of parts. The tire I'm running on here is the Metzler MC360. It's a tube tire, but it's a dual sport. It's made for the road and off-road, but it's like 80 or 90% dirt. I absolutely love this tire.
we're just taking parts off the bike right now and just kind of analyzing what we've got for parts and what we don't have for parts and what we need to order.
I think we're doing great for day one.
Yes, and it's cold as balls in here.
Okay, so this is what we've managed to accomplish in the first day on the bike. And full disclosure, I did steal them and run them off-road up the mountain for a little bit, which ate some of our time. So it's really half a day, but I have absolutely no idea what's going on with this motorcycle. I just know it's in good hands.
You know, we're just trying to, you know, piece it together. So we're starting at the front end and kind of working our way back. But you know, as we're going, we're finding issues that hopefully we can resolve, and then some other stuff is going together just perfectly. So
I have faith in
just
you.
like every bike build, it's just kind of like a process, especially the process of elimination, just figuring out the things that just don't fit.
We're literally taking an RMZ front end and trying to fit it onto a Harley Davidson. And the wheels that my previous builder ordered were not the right wheels for this bike, so we're gonna have to modify some stuff there. On the rear end, we're still modifying the stuff we had modified for the front end, but everybody's in a good mood.
We're having fun.
We're having fun. Now we're gonna do some tequila. And we're gonna go to bed, and we'll see you guys in the morning for the finish of video 1, turning a Harley Davidson into a dirt bike. I use the word dirt bike loosely, okay? I'd like to welcome you all to day 2 of the project. We had some realizations overnight and this morning so far. Let's take a look. So we have kind of mocked up the rear wheel there, as you can see. It's going to give it some good clearance. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But we got some problems, don't we?
Yep, got a few. We'll figure it out though.
So let's talk about some of the problems. What have we ran into so far, guys?
What haven't we run into so
No,
far?
it hasn't been that bad. One of the main issues has been the front end, trying to figure out the spacing and the turning radius dynamics for the 08 with the rubber mount. That frame is just different where it meets.
So basically, a lot of the guys that are building these things are building them on rigid mount engines like 03 and older Sportsters. And because this is an 08, the frames are different and some of the technology that's been done ahead of us doesn't fit. So now we're having to reinvent.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges that we're gonna have to do. We've put the front end back on it for now until we can get to some other stuff manufactured, machined. And then right now we're working on the rear end. We've got those shocks on there, just kind of the mock-up.
We need to order a new rear axle.
Yep, rear axle.
So what happened is this wheel is actually made again for that older model Sportster. I got my TC Brothers hat on today because these guys make so many rad parts. but I'm gonna have to get a different axle because that axle won't fit, and we're gonna have to make some different spacers. We're actually gonna have to modify the wheel, or the spacing and the axle and the stuff around that wheel to get that older style wheel to fit this bike. It's been super intense, and these guys have been working incredibly hard.
There's a lot of test fitting and just kind of moving things around, taking notes, ordering parts, and then coming back and trying it again later. Have a good parts list made by the time we're done here today, and hopefully some stuff in our shopping cart and some phone calls made to some friends for favors. So
here's the plan. They're gonna take this final assessment, figure out what we got. They're putting, you can see they got the old front end back on there. They're gonna get it basically a rolling chassis, bring it to the shop. They're gonna work on it there. Part 2 video of the Sportster Dirtster build will be how we fixed all the problems. Right now, the problems that we have, and keep in mind, a lot of this has to do with who you select as a builder, okay? Your builder should be taking and making sure all these different parts work and that your bike works. This is why you pay a builder what you pay them. It's an art, it's knowledge, and it's resources, and it's time finding and figuring. I have a group of friends who also happen to be builders, lucky me, figuring out the mess and trying to resort it out and trying to get it fixed. This is how you hear of guys and girls who end up hugely upside down in builds. Make sure, my advice, this is my first real big build. I've done other builds like this FXRT fairing on Ashley's Road King, and you know, some risers on my Indian Challenger with some T-bars and some modifications on my Road Glide. But these are pretty mild builds compared to taking a Sportster and turning it into a dirt bike. And when you get into those heavy builds like that, that's where it's important to have a super competent, a builder that can run business and can make sure that things are aligning and people are working together and that parts are all gonna fit. Part 2 of this video will be indeed the final finished project, and we'll go over all the troubled things like the front end lower trees hitting the frame, the rear wheel not fitting the swing arm because it's from a different gear, the tank not working with the triple trees because it's too far forward, kind of a shitty air intake. We're gonna get a better air intake on it. And what other problems?
They're not problems, they're challenges.
What other challenges? Wheel.
when was the last time it's had an oil change?
Or a bath.
No idea. The engine runs, I know that. There's the positives.
The management opportunity.
And I'm surrounded by some amazing friends. That is another positive. This is gonna work. I can see why this is therapy for veterans. I can see why sitting around and doing this and spending this time really can make a difference for our veterans, get them out of the house, get them thinking about things other than their demons, and creating true therapy. And that, my friends, is what Motorcycle Missions is all about. Bike building 101, my first real major bike build, and it has been an absolute disaster from the start. But we will not give up. We will stay stubborn.
It's going to be great, Adam.
See, this is why I love her.
Our little race.
We're gonna stay stubborn. We're gonna see this thing through to the end, and I will see you all in the next video.